Hey, what's going on there, folks? Earthmaster here. June 2nd, 2018, 5:27 p.m. Pacific time here in California, and looking at a couple different things here on the screen. You got the Earthquake 3D stream over here on the right side of the screen, showing the last 24 hours of earthquake activity around the globe. And looks like earthquake activity is indeed picking up as of today. Actually started picking up a little bit yesterday, but we're seeing a little bit larger uptick in activity, especially along the western coast of the North American continent today. Also, we've got a couple live data stations here to the left side of the screen, which includes the Kilauea volcano web recorder at the very top, and the webcam shot of the area there in Hawaii. The East Rift Zone over there. You can see some smoke coming up out of the ground, looks like. I decided to switch it up a little bit. I did have the summit cam, the crater cam there of Kilauea volcano, but a lot of times it's super foggy and really can't see too much activity at all. So I decided to switch it up here and get a little bit better view of the island there and some of the fissure activity ongoing in the background there. So we'll keep it like that for a little while unless something changes. It does automatically update, I think every 5 minutes or less, and so yeah, it'd be pretty cool to watch. Also below that we have some data stations around the globe, around Mendocino, California, San Andreas Fault System, and Yellowstone, just to name a few. Checking the latest status on the Kilauea volcano there from the USGS website. That's this one right here, volcanoes.usgs.gov, up here at the top, and then you just click on volcanoes and then Kilauea volcano. Right now alert level is still warning, color code deviation is red, and this was just updated at 1920 UTC time. I do have the latest information here in the scrolling effect text on the live stream, so I'm not going to read this again, but they're saying activity has calmed down a little bit as far as earthquake activity goes. Magma continues to be supplied to the lower East Rift Zone. Earthquake locations have not moved further down the rift in the past few days, and the number of located earthquakes remain low. They've had that status up there for quite some time with every update. As far as the summit goes, they're stating earthquake activity at the summit overnight was relatively calm. Ash emissions are low, as revealed by webcam views this morning. Small explosive events like the Friday afternoon one could produce minor amounts of ash fall downwind at any time. Of course, volcanic gas emissions at the summit remain high. So, you know, taking a look at the earthquake activity over there in Hawaii, it's still ongoing, but we're not seeing a major uptick at all. This here shows 74 earthquakes. That's a dramatic drop from the activity that we've seen over the past couple weeks since this activity has picked up. And this is all magnitudes here, so that's a good sign that activity maybe starting to calm down a little bit. Nothing big in this group of earthquake activity. A lot of these red ones here just in the small earthquake size category, roughly around a 2.5 or less. Some newer activity over here off to the side, which is kind of interesting there, because we're seeing the depth of these earthquakes down here at about 33 kilometers. So this is not any type of surface quake activity, no type of fissure activity occurring over there, but something rather deep, with all these earthquakes occurring roughly around 32 kilometers below the surface there. So we got to keep an eye on that area, as this is kind of a new region where we're seeing some swarming activity with all this ongoing activity there on the Big Island. So we'll keep an eye on this area. Like I say, it's still kind of inland by about 5 kilometers or so, but all these earthquakes, let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see, are roughly 34, 35, 32 kilometers below the surface there. Not big quakes, 2 or 2.5 or less, but it's deeper movement than we've seen in quite some time in an off-site location. We're still seeing some activity over here in the lower East Rift Zone. Nothing big, just kind of sporadic activity, roughly around 4 kilometers or so below the surface. Just I'm keeping an eye on this area right here. I'm kind of wondering what's going on, if this is some type of new activity. It's obviously new activity, but going to see what this leads up to. And we'll keep a close eye on that and update you if anything does change in that department. Take a look at the earthquake 3D globe. Obviously, quite a bit of activity occurring today. Once again, the green flag is the most recent earthquake activity, and that's a 2.1 occurring in Hawaii. White rings indicate recent earthquake activity, while the most darkish red color rings indicate some older earthquake activity that's about ready to drop off the globe in that 24-hour window. So as you can see, quite a bit of activity, very active I would say. Lots of 4s, lots of 5s around the Fiji Islands region, and some deep movement down there as well. There's a cluster of quakes over here, over towards the Indonesia region, reaching 5.7, a couple 4s in there as well. Let me filter this down a little bit to where we're just seeing some larger activity here. Yeah, so you can see the 5.7, the largest in that cluster of quakes there, near the Indonesia region. A couple 4s stretching down into this area as well. Like I say, a couple 5s there in Fiji as well, along with some deeper movement. And there's a pretty deep one right there, that 4.9. 492 kilometers below the surface. It's rather deep. Just northwest of Japan area, right out here in this fracture zone. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this area, but you can take a general look at where this is at. Like I say, it's not a big earthquake, but we're definitely seeing a lot of new earthquake activity out here on the Pacific plate. There was some activity off the west coast here. Check this 5.3 down there south of Chile region there. Other than that, not a whole lot of moderate movement out there on the globe. Bring this down here, you can see a couple 4s striking off here north of the Vancouver Island region, just off the Canadian coast up there. Also 4.1 south of United States in the Gulf of California area. So definitely some large-scale activity ongoing today, and we'll keep an eye on it and see exactly what should become of this. And right now we've got the magnitude set at 2.5 and above from the USGS, and also data coming in from the EMSC European website that also picks up worldwide activity and activity over there around the Mediterranean. As you can see, a couple 2s and some lighter activity occurring in that region. Nothing really to write home about in that area at all. But you know, just take a look at this side of the globe. Last 24 hours, pretty dramatic looking. Like I said, there's a lot of movement, but it's not major movement. It's moderate activity, with what, 5.7 being the largest up here. But yeah, it's an area to watch. I mean, we see a lot of activity like this before a big one, and you know, with multiple deep earthquakes on the southwest part of the Pacific plate, and also some deeper earthquake activity up here towards the west-northwest part of the plate. There's definitely some movement going on, and we're seeing that affect the west coast over here as well, with a couple 4s, like I said, up here north of Vancouver Island, and down here in the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of California, I should say. And like I say, we'll keep an eye on it. Taking a look at the California-Nevada map real quick. That's not the most recent. There's the most recent one. A little bit of activity up in Northern California. Not anything major. Just a couple sporadic twos. Small little earthquake off here off the coast of Northridge region near Ventura. 2.0. But like I say, this is pretty common activity. No swarming of any type occurring along the west coast. Checking Yellowstone National Park real quick. Seeing a little bit of earthquake activity. See this little spike of an earthquake right there at Norris Junction and also Lake Yellowstone. But other than that, it's pretty quiet, pretty mellow. No type of swarming going on. No volcanic movement. No lava being introduced into the magma chamber that I'm aware of or I can see on these maps. So everything looks pretty mellow. Looking at Maple Creek real quick. See a couple small, very small microscopic earthquakes, if you will, on the seismograph station here, but nothing big. It's pretty calm up there around the beautiful area. Looking at real-time tremor, that itself has calmed down as well, folks. It's definitely calmed down compared to what we've seen a couple days ago when we had a lot of activity up here west of Seattle. Tremor detection, that is, not earthquake activity, but tremor movement. That's the Cascadia subduction zone region, where they pick up some slow motion plate action, if you will, with very sensitive equipment. And right now it's very calm. A couple tremors being detected in Northern California, and it looks like one just west of Salem, Oregon. But that's the last 3 hours. Looking at the last 24 hours, still very sporadic, and it's, you know, not really confined anywhere. Just more or less like a large movement. We even got to see a little bit of activity up here. Normally we'll see a massive amount of tremor movement up north, and then once you get south of Eugene, we'll see some more tremor movement as well, locally heavy in certain areas, but no movement in Central Oregon. And it still looks that way. We're not, you know, we haven't seen any type of movement in that area in quite some time, and that's an area off here off the coast. Within this region here is where the big one's supposed to strike or rupture, according to, you know, certain seismologists and whatnot, which would make sense because we're not seeing any type of movement in this region. If we have movement up to the north and movement to the south, what's happening to this area? Well, it's pretty much just like a slingshot. You know, you're just continuing to apply pressure in this region, and it's going to pop one of these days. Who knows when? But anyway. Beautiful area up there in Oregon, but gosh darn it, man, I just do not like going up there anymore. It's kind of scary. Just, you know, the possibilities of something like that major happening while I'm up there, just it freaks me out. So anyway, we'll be on here off and on, folks, today. Just kind of chilling out here in the 100-degree heat here in California. Had a couple days off work, and I'll probably drop on in and live stream here more often tonight and tomorrow. And like I say, I want to welcome all the new subscribers. We definitely hit over 4K last week sometime. So definitely on an upward trend in making this channel grow. And what I have here on the screen is what I've had for quite some time, except for the switching of the webcam. If you guys have any ideas or any thoughts, any suggestions that might benefit this channel, let me know. I mean, if there's something that you'd like to see added or possibly taken off or moved around, let me know. I'm super open to ideas, so you just gotta throw them at me or throw them at a mod, you know, and they'll get the message to me. So Anyway, folks, hope everyone has a great, cool weekend. Like I say, it's hot outside. I got to do some yard work, so I will take care of that. But other than that, that's it for the earthquake video update. I will pop in later on tonight, or later on throughout the day, I should say, and see what's going on out there. All right, folks, peace out. Have a great day.